Hello and welcome to another edition of Currently in Quincy. I'm Joe Catalano. On today's program, we get details about the upcoming Shamrock Splash fundraiser by Save the Harbor, Save the Bay next Sunday. First, though, we check out the weather and the news for you this morning. Currently in Quincy, we've got some sun and clouds out there. It's 44 degrees right now. Today will turn out partly sunny and pretty mild. For the second day of March, temperatures will climb into the lower 50s this afternoon. Not nearly as cold tonight as it was last night when we had some snow showers roll through. Tonight's low is only in the mid-40s. That sets us up for a pretty mild day tomorrow. 60 degrees is possible tomorrow. We'll see some rain tomorrow night. That'll last into early Wednesday morning, but then clearing on Wednesday. Still mild with highs in the low 50s and very nice on Thursday. Lots of sunshine. High Thursday in the low 50s. Again, partly cloudy. It's 44 in Quincy right now. In the news today, Quincy Ward 4 City Councilor Brian Palmucci says that all of the new development that's going on in the city should benefit the current residents of the city. Palmucci is unveiling a series of measures that he calls the Residents First initiative.
Development should be serving as a catalyst to improve residents' quality of life. Residents need to get more from the transformative development that's occurring in our city. It can't just be more traffic and congestion for existing residents. As part of this Residents First initiative tonight, I'm introducing legislation to create a fund to improve traffic conditions and pedestrian safety across our city. That's the measure that's before you currently. This fund will be paid for by imposing a fee on all development in the city. We must use this development and this opportunity to improve our traffic conditions and road safety to benefit the residents who already live here in our city. Development isn't a bad thing. In one essence, it's further proof that Quincy is a city on the rise, but we owe it to current residents and their children who live here now to make sure they benefit from this development.
Palmucci says there should be a residence property tax exemption, that special tax on developers to pay for traffic and pedestrian improvements, and a commercial tax rate on larger apartment buildings. Palmucci's proposals are currently under review by the City Council's Ordinance Committee. Now, voters will be going to the polls in Quincy and across Massachusetts tomorrow for the Super Tuesday presidential primary. Here in Quincy, City Clerk Nicole Crispo says she did see an uptick in new voter registrations leading up to this year's election and says the majority of those are now unenrolled.
We have about 25,000 registered Democrats and about almost 7,000 Republicans.
Sounds about right, yeah. And the rest are unenrolled.
So
there you go.
Rainbow. We do have a Green Rainbow.
Oh, right.
A Libertarian ballot.
Crispo predicting a 45% turnout at the polls tomorrow. The polls will be open in Quincy tomorrow from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Crispo says there are no changes in voting locations this year. Last week, just over 1,300 voters participated in early voting here in Quincy. Quincy Mayor Thomas Koch is confident that the state will approve some grant money to help replace the Squantum Elementary School. The city was recently passed over for the second time by communities that the state says were more needy than Quincy, but Koch says the city will reapply this fall.
And, I talked to the executive director of the School Building Authority, Jack McCarthy, back in the fall, and he basically indicated to me, look, he says, we're right there, but there were just some school districts that their buildings were just a little worse off. And they do this, they have the calculation, they do the engineering, they have architects, they look at these things purely from a needs of the building and the infrastructure of the building. And, we just missed out. So he did encourage us to reapply again. We're doing that. I'm probably going to advance with our own funding some initial discussions on how we could, place the building, how big the building should be, what should the egress of the site be, those kinds of issues. We're going to get started on that anyway. Talk to Paul Hines at Commission Public Buildings, and we're going to move on that, bring an architect on board, just for conceptual stuff. I mean, nothing into the detail of the building itself, but for massing purposes and layout purposes. So we're going to continue to move the project, and hopefully the next round we'll get invited in to the process and then begin the real hardcore work.
Squantum School is over 100 years old. School officials say it is inadequate for today's educational needs. The city previously did receive state funding to help pay for the new Central Middle School, the new Southwest Middle School, and the new Quincy High School. A proposal for a new residential development on Harriet Avenue near the Milton Town line not sitting too well with neighbors. Over 100 people attended a community meeting about that plan last week. Nobody speaking in support for it. Boston Property Ventures of Quincy wants to put up a 6-story, 65-unit building and 10 townhomes. Ward 3 City Councilor Ian Kane says the people are worried that the project would create flooding in that area.
I've spoken to some people in the neighborhood already. There was some early sort of boring work that was taking place that was all within the rights of the landowner, but it caused some, nervousness and a little bit of contention. So we had to, we talked to some neighbors about that. But
what's there now? Is it just vacant land?
It is vacant land. It's I guess it's partially either abuts or it's partially on some wetlands, and so that's why it's a bit contentious because of the environmental concerns.
It's all wet down there, basically.
It is all wet down there, yeah. So we'll see.
Kane said he would explore the possibility of either having the area rezoned to prevent development or having the city buy the land and keep it open space. Quincy City Council reviewing plans for over $5 million in water and sewer improvements across the city. DPW Commissioner Al Grazioso told officials recently that work is needed to bring some very old systems up to date.
And this is work that we would actually do the sewer system evaluation survey beginning this spring and summer, and that would dictate to us the next phase of work that we would begin probably late in the year or early next year.
Funding would come from a no-interest loan program offered by the MWRA. But now that you're up to date with weather and news, let's check out our programming lineup for later on today here on Quincy Access Television. All starts with a replay of this program currently in Quincy today at 5 o'clock. Then at 5:30, Faces of South Asia. Today, Dove Domestic Violence Ended is featured. 6 o'clock, a recent community meeting on traffic on Willow Avenue.
When it's passed, so you know the progress on where we stand.
Then after that at 7, that community meeting on the Harriet Avenue development proposal. Quincy High versus Newton North girls basketball from February 26th tonight at 8 o'clock.
And we are here because
Then at 9, Eastern Nazarene College
to
presents
change
the Father
lives,
Bills Play.
communities, and to bring awareness to social justice issues as well.
Right after midnight, 12:10 a.m., Democracy Now! Check out Channel 9 every day, learn about Quincy city departments and different committee activities. Starts at 5:30 with Quincy in Focus. In the Know at 6 o'clock on this year's city and federal census. 6:30 FYI from the Quincy Health Department. The topic tonight, ringworm. Get a preview of tomorrow's election on In the Know tonight at 7 o'clock on Channel 9.
Was that they would
At 7:30, an opening of a time capsule from back in
on the 100th
1986.
anniversary of the armistice.
It's a look back at the Quincy Fire Department, a collection of photographs, part 1, tonight at 8. And right after that at 8:30, it's the Quincy Fire Department's photographs, part 2. And find out what's happening at your library for the month of March at 9 o'clock.
Welcome to At Your Library.
Get a complete program schedule on our website, which is qatv.org. When you get there, just click on Program Schedule. Don't forget to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and check out our weekly ad in the Quincy Sun. Coming up, we take a look at a few of the current events and activities that we're featuring on our electronic bulletin board on Channel 8 for your information. Please stay tuned. We're back with you in just 1 minute. Welcome back. Here is a look at a few of the current events and activities that we're featuring right now on our electronic bulletin board on Channel 8 for your information. If you donate $20 to the Quincy Animal Shelter for their 20th anniversary, you can have your pet included in a mosaic of pets that is being created this year. Post a photo on the shelter's social media or website, which is quincyanimalshelter.org, and get all the details. The Scots Charitable Society and the Women's Auxiliary presenting the Kirkin of the Tartans. This is on March 28th at the First Presbyterian Church on Franklin Street in Quincy. The worship service will be at 10 o'clock, then the luncheon begins at 11 o'clock. Call Karen Mahoney at 617-413-1476 or send her an email at the address on your screen there for more information. Quincy Emergency Management Community Emergency Response Team courses will be taking place March 11th through April 29th on Wednesday nights, and you'll learn about disaster preparedness, basic sheltering, basic search and rescue, and much more. Call 617-376-1105 to get all the details. And Quincy Community Action Program's Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program is still accepting appointments for qualified candidates. Call them at 617-657-5345. You can email taxes@qcap.org or visit their office on Hancock Street in Quincy Center. Individuals who earned less than $56,000 last year or who qualified for fuel assistance may qualify for their free tax preparation service. And if you have an event or an activity you'd like to promote, visit our website, qatv.org. Just download a bulletin board request form, fill it out, send it in. We'll put your message up here on Channel 8 too. Coming up, we get all the details about the upcoming Shamrock Splash to benefit Save the Harbor, Save the Bay. That's next. Welcome back. Now that it's March, lots of folks trying to start to think about spring, certainly, and the folks at Save the Harbor, Save the Bay are definitely doing that. Their 10th annual Shamrock Splash is coming up next Sunday, March 8th, at the Curley Community Center in South Boston. So Trevor Etheridge, Kristen Barry are here to tell us all about Save the Harbor, Save the Bay, and about the splash, and about how you might be able to join them. So, hey guys, welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much for hosting us today.
Sure, great to have you here. Now it is March, and this week's going to be pretty warm. Of course, it's going to snow on Saturday, right before the splash, and then into Sunday you go.
Official start of summer for us at Save the Harbor, Save the Bay.
That's right. We should maybe, Trevor, start with you and let folks know just a little bit about the organization if folks haven't heard of it before.
Sure. So Save the Harbor, Save the Bay was founded in 1986, really with the main mission of cleaning up Boston Harbor, which at the time was one of the dirtiest harbors in the country.
It needed saving, but
I'm sure that we all know the Love That Dirty Water song,
Sure.
and back then that was very much true. Yeah. But over the past 20, 30 years, up until the early 2000s, we were really focused on advocating for clean water, the development of the Boston Harbor Islands, and cleaning up the region's public beaches. Now we have taken a little bit of a pivot in our mission while still focusing on helping some of the beaches that are lagging behind, but really getting people out there to enjoy these resources that are now clean and usable and amazing options for recreation and outdoor education.
Yeah, the Back to the Beaches campaign, right?
Exactly.
Get folks back to the beaches, urban beaches especially, right?
Yeah.
You cover not only Quincy and Boston, but North Shore down to the South Shore.
You know, we cover basically from Nahant to Nantasket up on the North Shore.
Okay. Has it worked, do you think, in your assessment?
Yeah, we actually, on Sunday, March 8th, we are hosting, as you said, the Shamrock Splash, which is actually taking place on the nation's cleanest urban natural beach in South Boston.
Wow. The nation's cleanest urban beach. How do you know that? How is that?
We actually do water quality testing on all of the beaches, and we are actually able to determine through that it's the cleanest. It gets a 100% on its grade, so it is the nation's cleanest.
Yeah, that's astounding. That's is that the best in your coverage area? Would you say?
We have several beaches that do score 100%.
Okay.
But can't get much better than 100% A plus.
Yeah. How does Wollaston fare in that group?
Wollaston over the past 10 years has definitely improved in water quality, and there are still some concerns that we are working with the Massachusetts legislature and our Metropolitan Beaches Commission to address and improve those. There's, as I believe someone was saying earlier at one of the town halls you were showing, it's an old sewer system. There are a lot of pipes and so many connections to really look into. So, it takes time to make these improvements, but we are definitely still dedicated and working on improving that.
Yeah, what would you say are some of the main sources of contamination today in urban beaches?
So definitely with increased rainfall,
Sure.
living in an urban area, you do get, the
runoff,
runoff.
right?
And
Yeah.
so, any days after like a huge rainstorm is probably not going to be people's first day to go to the beach regardless,
Right.
but it does tend to, water quality does dip around then.
Yep.
And, just, illegal hookups that aren't 100% of the time, purposefully illegal, they've just become out of date.
Yes.
So
Yep.
those are really what we're working to try and address.
Sure. But it's a much smaller problem, I guess, than it used to be, because you're able to have events on the beaches now, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So-
Like Shamrock Splash, which used to be Cupid Splash years
did.
ago, around Valentine's Day, but I guess it got too cold for you.
Yeah, we always got snowed out.
Right.
So we shifted to March. And
Yeah.
It lines up nicely with our title sponsors. So Harpoon obviously is our title sponsor,
Right.
and they do their St. Patty's Day festival, and we sell koozies there and try to raise a little bit extra money right before the splash. So their events on Friday and Saturday. So then we
all
go
right.
roll right into our event on Sunday.
Yeah. Kristen, tell us a little bit about yourself, first of all, and
Oh,
how you
yeah,
got
sure.
involved with Save the Harbor, Save the Bay.
So really the summer right after I graduated college.
From where?
Sorry, from Bates in Lewiston, Maine.
Oh, okay.
So I studied biology, and I definitely didn't want to go the research route, and I was like, I want to be involved in the community, and there was a summer position opening up at Save the Harbor, and it's really just environmental education that we run programs on a lot of harborfront camps, and we actually run a program down in, I guess we are in Quincy.
Yep.
So at Blacks Creek Sailing Center, we do environmental education 4 days a week there with our youth environmental education staff. So I started in that program and just transitioned to full-time about a year and a half now.
Oh, okay.
And so now I'm the youth program director, and I'm focused on all of the programming that we do on the beaches, and the day-to-day programming and the special events programming like we have with our partners in Quincy. So we have been working with Friends of Wollaston Beach and Discover Quincy and Quinn Cycles and all of these great groups down here, just so we can, make sure that people use these awesome resources that we have.
Yeah, they're public beaches, public facilities,
Yeah.
right? They're open to all.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you find that kids today care about the beaches? I mean, care about the environment?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, so a lot of what we do is not only doing like hands-on touch tanks, but also trying to sneak some learning in there.
Without them realizing it, right?
Right, exactly. Trick them into learning.
Yeah.
So we definitely talk about climate change, and all the kids, are talking about the plastic in the ocean, and we have a lot of curriculum units to sort of focus on that, and it's sort of art focused and also STEM focused, and I think just based on the conversations that I have with the kids on the day to day, they remember stuff, and they are sharing that with their counselors and their parents even, and so it's really, it feels like what we are talking about is not lost on them. So yeah.
Okay. Well, just yesterday here in Quincy, the ban on plastic bags took effect.
That's awesome.
So there's another
it's
step
really
forward,
exciting.
I'm sure, because that's one of the big problems on the beaches, and flying in the trees as well.
Right.
So what events in Quincy this year can folks look forward to?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. Basically, the big thing is with the splash is that we raise $50,000 every year, and that money goes directly to community organizations that put on events in their communities. And I think the big one in Quincy is the 50 Days of Freedom series.
Oh, sure.
And so that's the big thing that we're involved in, and yeah.
I know I guess it's Trevor every July or so that there really is the big summer splash down at Wollaston Beach.
Oh yeah, last year I think that we did our first. Every year we do what we call a beach bash and splash,
Yes.
which is just a really incredible event where we can get 500 to 600 kids out onto the harbor for a big day of really celebrating how clean our beaches are. And I think that we definitely are anticipating to come back to Quincy for that.
Great.
So we would love community members to come out and really participate in that.
Okay, great.
It's a great day. We provide lunch to all the kids. Sometimes we partner with the Boston Circus Guild, and they come out with us and have aerialists and jugglers. It's like really, really fun event.
Yeah. Are you looking kind of more shoulder season activity maybe in the future too, depending on funding, obviously, but spring and fall events too?
We do always look. This year we have been running, or the past 2 years we've been running our Share the Harbor cruises, which serve everyone from around the region, where we bring people out onto the harbor for free cruises out to the harbor islands. And we're also doing Catch of the Day fishing cruises this year for some youth and community development groups.
Okay.
So, we're really looking to engage Quincy's community in that, where we take groups of 20 to 30 kids out onto the harbor for like a really hands-on fishing experience.
Super.
And they can even learn about, some possible healthy ways to, prepare recipes that use local fish species.
Oh, all right. You mentioned the islands. Those are such an untapped resource that we have so close to home, really.
Yeah, no, it's shocking how many people, live within, being able to see the islands and have never even been out to be there. So really what we try and do is all of our programming is free, so we don't think that, money should be a barrier to be able to access these resources.
Right.
We really do everything that we can to make that.
Yeah. Is it totally grassroots driven? Do you get any state or federal funding at all?
So our Better Beaches program, actually, we get around, I believe it's $190,000 a year from the Department of Conservation and Recreation. But we really like to say that, we get $190,000 and we're able to give back $250,000 in those small grants that are funded in part by the Harpoon Shamrock Splash.
Yeah, so let's talk about that day. What's going to be happening on March 8th?
So that day, it's on Sunday, March 9th at BCYS.
It's the 8th, I think.
Oh, Sunday, March 8th.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
The only reason I know that is because we spring ahead.
It's at BCYS Curley Community Center on M Street Beach in South Boston. So check-in's going to start at 9 a.m. and gearing up for at 11 o'clock, we'll do the big splash into the water.
Okay.
And so right after that, we have this, what we have been liking to call this year, Boston's Best Winter Beach Party.
Okay.
So we'll have music from Mix 104.1, as well as chowder provided by the Daily Catch, and catered burgers, veggie burgers, hot dogs, and we're also looking forward to incorporating some beach games this year.
No kidding.
Hopefully
we have some spike ball, cornhole. We're trying to get people to stay on the beach, and it seems like the weather is gonna hold up.
Maybe snowball fights.
Right, yeah, it's not gonna be 10 degrees this year like it was last year. So we're really excited to have everyone hang around and enjoy a beer from Harpoon and burgers and.
How many folks typically splash, if you will?
Yeah, well, we normally have around 250 to 300 people on the beach, but
about 100, 150
I would say 100
brave, hardy souls.
And also include in the event, our other title sponsor is JetBlue Airlines. So we do a costume contest where the people who dress up in the best aquatic themed, or we sometimes have St. Patrick's Day themed as well. We have 2 winners for the costume contest who win free round trip airline tickets from JetBlue.
That's nice. Okay. Yeah. So do you guys splash?
We do splash.
You do, but you do.
Yeah.
Oh,
we were very lucky last year that we both landed on the cover of the Boston Globe.
Oh, no kidding.
I was making a tough face.
So
pretty cold.
I was just gonna ask, is it like shocking to the system when you jump it in?
It's refreshing.
Very nice.
Last
corporate
year
line
it was
trip.
a little cold, but normally, no problem. In and out, it's like 2 minutes that you're in there.
So that's the first thing, and then you party on the beach afterwards.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. How do folks participate if they want to?
So people can register at www.shamrocksplash.org.
Oh, okay.
So there's a $20 registration fee, and we encourage people to fundraise as well.
Right.
Talk
with teams and things.
Talk with friends and family. try and, build up as much support and
Right.
really highlight to everyone that, all of the money that you're raising goes directly back into the beaches. So really you're fundraising for, fun events that you guys can participate in.
Yeah, including on Wollaston Beach right here in Quincy.
Yeah,
too.
Exactly.
in your community.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Anything else we should
Yeah,
add?
I mean, I guess
Yeah.
I'll mention like anyone who donates to someone splashing, anyone splashing. I'm probably forgetting something, but anyone who is involved in the event in any way also has a chance to win the JetBlue tickets. And so we're trying to
Okay.
provide a lot of incentive to
Yeah.
donate and participate. And if you don't feel comfortable asking your friends for money, just have them join you on the beach.
There you go.
We're
Okay.
just trying to get as many people on the beach and really aware of what the event is and what we're doing, and giving the money back to your guys' community.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
yeah.
let us know how it goes. Send us some
Yeah,
pictures so we can keep those
absolutely.
updated, and good luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming over. Just enough time to recap the forecast. Too bad the splash isn't today. It's going to be 50 degrees this afternoon with sun and clouds out there. Not too cold tonight, down to the mid-40s. Pretty mild week coming up, really, right through Thursday. Maybe some rain on Tuesday evening, but other than that, it's clear sailing. Thanks again to Trevor Etheridge and Kristen Barrow for joining us from Save the Harbor, Save the
thank you.
Day. Thanks to our crew. Thank you for watching. On Friday at 11:30, we'll learn all about this year's free boating classes from the Quincy Police Department on another edition of Currently in Quincy. We'll see you then.